wild like my daddy, but grateful like my mom. I drank like granddad, smoked stuff like the other. But granddad feels the cut. So like my uncle JT, a cousin Big B. I got big dreams like Jimmy Lee. And my aim is just good for any things. Good job like Uncle Kevin told me. Top notch, dead. Yeah, caddy things. It's the age lab, big corporate thug, and political like that.
Hey.
Out my lot, see. It's hot, it wasn't scared to get money nor leave the beats. See, can't play me like I'm upon that chest. Jokes look like Big Kenny and Ski. G like Jarrell, Jerm. Trigger happy, it's about my family alone, like my granny, Lula.
How did your day go?
My days and the lead, routed like the Fantasies. Spiritual like the waters of go like Arian, a religious, romantic career like no one on ever. Oh, so like Uno, my soldiers, untold story like my bro, T-Bird. Right now, I can get aim like Herb, free like John and Gene. I can be man, respectful, tattoo, diff breed. I can't wait to get a load of me. Dread luxury, memory and lesson.
Day was pretty good. Got a lot of stuff done and enjoyed my day off for work, but I still worked anyway. So the grind really doesn't stop. With that being said, we're going to get going. Hey, champions, welcome to tonight's edition of the Motivation to Elevation podcast. It is the final podcast of 2017, and I am excited about it, and I trust that your day has been a blessed one, that it has been a productive one. And I'm excited about this topic. Hey, Pastor, thanks for hopping on. And so I'm excited about this topic because going into the new year, in order for the new year to be better than this year has been, there are going to be some things you're going to have to let go of. And I'm going to talk about some fantasies that you're going to have to let go of going into the new year, because certain baggage you can't carry into 2018. So whatever the issues have been in 2017, you have to deal with them now or release them before you go into 2018, because you don't want certain things to happen. You don't want certain things to happen next year that happened this year. You don't want history to repeat itself. So let me get a couple things out of the way before we dive into this topic. Again, thanks so much to everyone who has ordered my brand new book. It is entitled Love Me or Hate Me, My Journey from Motivation to Elevation. It is something I am proud of. It is my story. It is my truth. And it is something I am unapologetic about. I ordered a case of books, and I'm proud to say that entire case has been sold out. It is 100% sold. So I'm in the process of ordering another case of books. So thank you so much. If you have not already done so, you can secure you a copy of my book at www.lovemeorhateme.org. Again, that's www.lovemeorhateme.org. And then also, again, for those that are just hopping on, I will not do a podcast next week. So this is the final podcast of 2017. So we're going to make sure that we end on a positive note. And so I want to talk to you about fantasies that you need to let go of before the new year. And so think about what this year has been. Normally, the month of December is a time of reflection. So you look at the things that you have accomplished, the things that you set out to do at the beginning of the year. And if you're like me, you write down a list of things that you want to accomplish. And then the end of the year comes, you evaluate yourself based on what you wrote down at the beginning of the year. And so in order for you to be able to say that you've had a productive year, you got to really be honest with yourself. And think about this. When it all boils down to it, you can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And so if you are someone, and if you caught yourself stuck with fantasies, negative thought patterns, you have to realize that there are certain things that you need to take action on as soon as possible to correct that behavior, because that behavior can become toxic. And if you don't handle it, it can linger on into the new year. So this is an opportunity for a new start, for a new chapter, for a new beginning. And so there are certain things that you're going to have to let go of in order for you to elevate to the next level. Because, when you're dealing with me, it's about motivation and elevation. So let me give you some things. Let me give you some things to let go of. Let me give you some fantasies to let go of before the new year begins. First of all, you need to let go of the fantasy of all of the fantasies you have about all of the distractions in your life. And what I mean by that is, if it entertains you now, but it will hurt you or bore you someday, it's a distraction. And what I want to encourage you to do is do not settle. Don't exchange what you want most for what you kind of want at the moment. And so what you have to do, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to study your habits. And you have to figure out where your time goes. Because here's the thing. We all have 24 hours in the day, in the same day. And our success hinges on how we use the 24. So you have to figure out where your time goes and remove unnecessary distractions. And it's time to focus on what in. It's not about how it starts. It's about how you finish. And so another thing that you have to let go of, is this fantasy, is the fantasy that everyone else knows what's best for you. Everybody does not know what's best for you. And too many of us are listening to the noise of the world. And guess what? We get lost in the crowd. And so what I want to challenge you to do is do not do this to yourself. Don't read every gossip column. Don't read every Facebook post or every Instagram meme. Don't check the news 5 times a day. Find the strength to fill your time with meaningful experiences, and the space and time that you are occupying at any given moment is life. And if you're worried about what Cardi B or LeBron James or some other famous face is doing, then you're becoming disempowered. And you're giving your life away to media's hocus pocus and marketing, which is created by big companies to ultimately motivate you to want to look and behave a certain way. And because if you think about it, when it comes to television, I've heard television referred to as the big income producer, the income reducer. Sorry about that. It's the big income reducer because we waste our time with a lot of foolishness. And so if you want 2018 to be better than what 2017 was, you're going to have to change some things, because you can't do what you did in 2017 and think that 2018 is going to be any different. You're kidding yourself. And then when you think about it, when you think about all of those things, especially with what you see on Instagram and what you see on Facebook and what you see on other forms of social media and on television especially, it's all just a distraction from what is real and what is good. And what is real and what is good is you and your friends and your family and your loved ones, your loves, your highs, your hopes, your dreams. You know this already. So listen to what your mind and your heart is telling you. And I hope that you're still with me. Another thing that you have to let go of, you have to let go of this fantasy that your anger and your frustration is somebody else's fault. Ooh, that's a tough one. But it's necessary, because the ultimate measure of your wisdom and your strength is how calm you are when you're facing any given situation. One thing that I respect about my pastor, because I'm not going to put his business out there, but he's been dealing with a situation. And he's at a place and space in his life now to where things that used to bother him, it does not bother him as much as it used to. And he has a calmness about himself. And the thing about calmness is a superpower. And the ability to not overreact or take things personally keeps our minds clear and our heart at peace, which instantly gives us the upper hand. And so just when the enemy thinks they got you, you're able to throw the enemy a curveball. Like, you're going to have to do better than that. Another thing, you got to let go of this fantasy that your biggest obstacle is outside of yourself. You have to let go of that fantasy. And what I mean by that is, we are our own worst enemy. And I've heard it said like that. Sometimes you have to shake hands with your worst enemy, yourself. And the biggest and most complex obstacle you will ever have to overcome is your mind. Everything starts in the battlefield of the mind. So truly, if you can overcome that, you can overcome anything. You can overcome any circumstance or any obstacle. If you can overcome that thing in your mind where you know that you're supposed to be doing something, but out of fear, you're using your fear as a crutch. And now it's no longer a crutch, but now it has completely paralyzed you. You have what it takes in you to turn that situation around. Because the world is waiting to hear your voice. The world is waiting to hear that book that you keep putting to the side, or you keep acting like you're afraid to write because you're afraid of being judged. You're being real selfish right now. It's time for you to get out of your own way. You did all that in 2017. How did that work out for you? So if you want things to change in 2018, you're going to have to do some things differently. You're going to have to realize that even though you might be writing a story about yourself, and while it's about you, it's no longer just for you. It's for those who may be on the verge of giving up. It's for those who feel like they are alone in their situation, and they feel like nobody understands what they're going through, and they feel like nobody has been through what they've gone through. But you've been through what they've gone through. But how would they ever know if you don't open your mouth and talk about what you've gone through? See, that's the point. Once you, this is how you know you're truly over something. Whatever the issue is, no matter how personal it is, when you can talk about it and your thoughts are clear, and you could talk about the mistakes that you have made, because very seldomly is someone 100% blameless in a situation. Very seldomly. It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely that someone is 100% blameless in a situation. When you can talk about what you've gone through and the lessons that you learned, then your story, your testimony, your storm is no longer for you. It's for somebody else that's in the midst of their own storm, that you can speak directly to because you've been where they are. So the thing about it is this, and this is what you have to realize. This is what you must understand. By overcoming And what I'm saying by overcoming, I'm referring to the skill of mindfulness and learning to effectively control your emotional responses to life's unexpected changes. Why am I saying that? If you've been following me, if you know my story, there were two significant life unexpected challenges that happened to me in 2016. And I had to control my emotional response to both of them. And even though I didn't get the answers that I want to the second one, and the first one was completely out of my control, I finally have peace about it. I was talking to my brother about it earlier today. And I got to the point where when we were talking about our father, that, and I even said this when I eulogized him, and I thought about this when I did his eulogy. I felt like my father knew that he was about to die. And the reason I say that is because after he passed, everything was in order. Everything was laid out. And I was talking to my mom about this today. Everything was laid out. So we didn't have to really search for anything. All of the documents was in order. It's like he knew it. He just didn't say anything. And it caught us by surprise. And it still hurts. Because when I think of the things that I've accomplished in 2017, God knows I wish my man was right here beside me, experiencing it. And then when I think about what's on deck for 2018, I wish he was here physically to witness it, to experience it with me. But he's just going to have to experience it in the spiritual realm. And that is what has ignited a fire in me. And because life circumstances will ignite a fire in you, but it's up to you how you handle it, because it can make you fold up like a cheap tent, or it could push you into greatness. It could push you into elevation. And so the thing about it is, I carry him in my heart. And so as long as I'm breathing, as long as my brothers are breathing, and as long as, we continue to carry on that legacy, he's not going, his legacy will never die. And so the thing about it, and Tiffany, I know you understand completely, because I know that you've lost your father as well. And I know that you lost your brother as well. So, you definitely have my condolences, and you know that I am truly appreciative of you. And I'm thankful to you for a lot of things that you've taught me, and a lot of swift kicks that you have given me, whether you know it or not. I think you do, just because, we don't talk every day, but we talk from time to time. And so when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, in your own way, you'll give me a swift kick in the behind. So I appreciate that, even though you're on the East Coast. I appreciate it more than you can possibly know. And so with that, we have to realize that when it all boils down to it, when those unexpected challenges happen to us, it's essential to realize this, because most of our deepest pain comes from the way that we respond, not the way life is. Life is going to throw us curveballs. That's life. Life is not going to always throw you a fastball. Sometimes it's going to throw you a changeup. Love you too, my sister. It's going to throw you a curveball. It's going to throw you a changeup. Sometimes it's going to throw you a screwball. It's going to, and I'm from St. Louis, so I know all those baseball terms because I'm a lifelong Cardinal fan. So It's going to happen. Sometimes life will throw you an unexpected slider. It's going to happen, but you control how you respond to it. And I've said it before, how you respond to adversity privately will determine how God blesses you openly. A couple more and then I'm going to wrap this up. Another fantasy that you have to let go of going into the new year is that you have to let go of the fantasy that life shouldn't be so hard. You got to let that go for 2018. And the reason being is because it's so easy to overestimate the importance of one big challenging circumstance and then underestimate the value of making better daily decisions based on what that circumstance has taught you. And the truth of the matter is this: you need things to be challenging. You need things to be hard. You need it to be hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But the hard is what makes it great. And your mind and your body needs to be exercised to gain strength. I was just talking to my mom today, and I was telling her that when you stop using certain muscles, the muscles start deteriorating. And they start breaking down quickly. You have to keep using them. And they need to be worked consistently. Why? Because if you haven't pushed yourself in lots of little ways over time, if you always avoid dealing with and working through the hard things, of course you're going to crumble in the inevitable days that are harder than you expected. If I didn't learn how to push myself through the hard days, then everything that I dealt with in 2016, which I talk about in my book, very detailed and very transparently, I might add, would have killed me. It would have killed me. It would have destroyed me. But I learned how to push through it. And the reason that and the very reason I'm here now, the very reason I'm as strong as I am now is because of my ability to learn how to push through things that are beyond my control. Because I learned how to use certain muscles and use them consistently. So when you use something consistently, you build strength. And that's something you got to deal with. Two more and then I'm done. You got to realize another thing that you got to let go of another fantasy that you got to let go of, is that you got to let go of this fantasy that the risks are too great. Think about this. And Auntie, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that because you know my story better than most people. You've seen it directly and you've seen it from a distance. And so I appreciate you saying that. And the thing about it is this. You have to realize that you have to let go of this fantasy that the risks are too great. And what I mean by that is when it comes to things that happen to us, whether it's a new income opportunity, or whether it comes to a new relationship opportunity, etc. When it comes to doing something new, oftentimes when these people have their ideal opportunity sitting right in front of them, and my entrepreneurs can relate to this. My fellow entrepreneurs can relate to this. They take zero action. And that amazes me. They refuse to step up and pursue what they truly want because deep down they fear pain, they fear rejection, they fear failure, etc. So subconsciously and heartbreakingly, they will trade comfort and self-preservation for lifelong misery. And what I'm saying to you is, don't do that to yourself. You've been doing it to yourself yourself long enough, or for someone that you know that you love, that you say that you love, and they've been doing this, you got to go tell them they need to stop doing that. They got to cut that out in 2018. They got to cut it out. Because in order for you to elevate to the next level, to get one step closer for you to live out your purpose, because we all have a purpose for our life. We all have a purpose. We all have an assignment. We all have people that will be able to resonate with our story. But we got to learn how to forgive people. We got to learn how to forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we've made, and then also for the opportunities that we've passed over. And we can't continue to allow ourselves to be beaten up by life. And most of all, we cannot continue to beat ourselves up. And I'm a living witness to that, because I am my own worst critic, and I have a habit of beating myself up. And I'm thankful I have, a lot of people in my corner who will get on me about beating myself up. One of the people I mentioned earlier is Tiffany. She gets on me about that. And so finally, the last thing, and if you're keeping track, this is the 7th one. The last thing that you need to let go of is you need to let go of the fantasy that you need to move, that you need permission to move forward with your life. You have to let go of the fantasy that you need permission to move forward with your life. Here's why. No one is going to give you permission. No one is going to give you the permission that you need. So don't wait to be chosen or blessed by someone else, because the chosen and blessed ones choose and bless themselves with a heart-centered focus and consistent action. So what I'm saying is, your life is your choice, and you need to know this. You need to make wise choices, choose wisely, and then take imperfect action. That's what you have to do. So to recap, I have given you 7 fantasies that you have to let go of before 2018 arrives. The first one was, you have to let go of the fantasies you have about all of the distractions in your life. That was the first one. The second one was, you have to let go of the fantasy that everyone else knows what's best for you. The third one was, you have to let go of the fantasy that your anger and frustration somehow is someone else's fault. Point number 4, you have to let go of the fantasy that your biggest obstacle is outside of yourself. And the biggest point that I made when it came to that point was, everything starts in the battlefield of the mind. Point number 5, you have to let go of the fantasy that life shouldn't be so hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, if living out your purpose was easy, everybody would do it. It's not supposed to be easy, but it's not impossible. And better yet, it's necessary. Point number 6 was, let go of the fantasies that the risks are too great. And then the last point was, let go of the fantasy that you need permission to move forward with your life. We are going into 2018. We have a couple days left in 2017. You still have an opportunity to end it on a high note, regardless to what happened in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. You still have the opportunity to end the fourth quarter of this year on a great note, and then carry that momentum into 2018. So what are you going to do about it? And so, with that being said, I'm going to call this a wrap. Thank you so much to everybody who has hopped on, to everyone who has chimed in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I am honored to be before you each and every Tuesday. And so again, with that being said, this is the last podcast of this year. And so with that being said, from my heart to yours, from my family to yours, I want to say happy holidays, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, whether you celebrate Christmas, whether you celebrate Kwanzaa. Make sure that you reflect on the fact that what the real reason for the season is. And then not only that, make sure that you spend time with those that you love. Because it's really not about materialistic things. It's really not about, gifts and fat, jolly white men and so on and so forth. It's not really about that. And then not only that, you have to realize that everybody that was here last year didn't make it to this point. So you don't take that for granted. So, during the holidays, those that you love, hug them a little tighter. Tell someone, whether they appreciate it or not, tell them that you appreciate them. Whether they expect it or not, tell them that you love them and you're thankful for them being in your life. And so, and my aunt reminded me that, I'm going to do that anyway, because that's just me, and again, that's just something I'm proud of. If you have not already done so, again, my brand new book is available. It is something out of all the things that I've accomplished this year, whether it was speaking on stage for the first time ever, whether it was meeting the one mentor I had not met in my life, Les Brown, whether it was getting my first paid speaking engagement, whether it was going out of the country for the second time in my life, or what the most important thing that I did this year was sitting down and doing something that took me 18 years to do. I did it in less than 2 months. And that was pouring my heart into this book. Again, it is available. It is entitled Love Me or Hate Me, My Journey from Motivation to Elevation. Make sure you grab a copy of it. Make sure you order it from my site, so that way it's going to take a little longer to get to you, but it will give me the opportunity to sign it. And also put a personal message in it, because when you release a product, you really see who's really supportive of you. Because I have many people I've met through business who have released, products and stuff, and I have, invested into them. So this is the first time that I've done something of my own. And so it's an eye opener to really see who really is supporting you, who really believes in you, and who's really proud of you. And so, I'm thankful for my friend Tiffany, because she told me that she was proud of me. And that's not something I hear a lot, but that's something I'm truly appreciative of. So, again, make sure you grab you a copy of that book, and you'll get it after the beginning of the new year. But it's time to elevate going into 2018, because I'm banking on 2018 is going to be even better than what 2017 it has been. 2018 is going to be a curtain call. It's a new chapter, and I'm just going to take it to the next level. And so you can choose to either stay in the same place or elevate to the next level and watch what God does, because if he can't do it, then it cannot be done. But again, thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to hop on. Remember, as always, in life, you have two choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses, but you most certainly cannot do both. And I just thought about it. I cannot believe I almost forgot this. On Wednesday, January the 3rd. So we'll be back here January 2nd. But on January 3rd, I have actually been selected along with 5 other men to speak on an all-male telesummit, an all-male panel for a telesummit. And it's entitled Suited Up for Impact. And this is the first time that I have ever been a part of that. So if you want to be able to watch that and support it, you can register for it at www.suitedupforimpact2018. That's all together. .eventbrite.com. And again, you can get more information at www.suitedupforimpact.com. There is a picture on my Facebook page, and everybody that's watching is friends with me on Facebook, so you can see the information. And I almost forgot to mention it, but I'm honored to be on that panel, and I'm going to be able to. It's a 2-night event. I'm speaking the very first night, which is Wednesday, January 3rd, in the new year. So again, we're kicking off 2018 on a high note. You know, we're picking up where 2017 leaves off. So again, thank you so much, and I will be back in 2 weeks. For another edition of the Motivation to Elevation Facebook Live podcast. Peace.